This place sure is something, isn't it? The grandeur. And who are you? Also, how did those folks get up to your hand? Because it seems this is a no-fly zone. At least we can mount in this city, though. That'll be welcome. You think this is the hub for the expansion? I guess the way that we'd know that, right, would be, if there was an NPC standing around selling gear from this expansion. But I do not see that, so this might not be the hub. Who can say? Not sure how long we're gonna go tonight. Might be a shorter session. I'm in an odd state of mind. It's been a long week, and it has been a week. It's good to see Nago up and moving again. I wasn't sure when she headed home, so I wasn't there when she headed home. So So naturally assumed she left too soon. Always overdoing it, that one. All that for a line we'd read last time. Conrad, you'll forgive us our precautions, but we couldn't be sure who'd crossed the barrier. We see you now for who you are, though. The Scions of the Seventh Dawn. Lise takes the lead. Oh, music back on. Whoa. Bit of a jump there. Promise of a new beginning. Now I know you would not have come all this way unless you had something important to discuss. I'm eager to hear what it is that you have to say. But let's not do this on our doorstep, eh? Come with me. You gonna teleport me? Probably not, right? This is a first trip round the city type thing. Have not warmed to that quest accept music yet. Truly I have not. This away, into the ruin. How long do you think this thing's unmaintained, or how long was it unmaintained before it became the Resistance's base? These guys do seem better organized than I would have expected. This is like a proper militia. This is a movement, not just some dudes standing around. Hey, Gottfried, you've just got a quest, huh? Monago, you plan operations here. We're not entertaining important guests like yourselves. Mefrid, when we first met back in the Shroud, I took you for another adventurer. By Rhaegbrs, I still can't believe how far you've come. I got protagonist disease. It's incurable, but also I can't die, so I'll make it. Voiced on voiced, flip a coin.
Allow me to welcome you
Voiced.
once more to Rhaegbrs Reach, our humble headquarters. My name is Conrad Kemp, and I have the dubious honor of overseeing operations here.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Master Kemp. I am Alphino Leveilleur of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, as are my comrades. Before I speak of our purpose here, pray allow me to thank you for sheltering Lise, and Papalimo at great risk to yourselves.
No, there's no need for that. They risked their necks for us enough times. 'Twas the least we could do.
I wanted to, about the mask and...
Yeah, does he know? Like, calling her Ida is probably
You're not the first
revealing.
person to take up arms against the Empire under a false name. We'd do the same if we had any sense. My condolences for your loss, child.
Keep your Twitter profile
Papalimo laid
private,
down his life
or
to
anonymous
save
at least.
to give us a chance to make a better future for ourselves. There will never be a better time to drive the Garleans from our lands. But we have to take the lead on this. We can't leave it to fanatics like Ilberd.
Yeah, well, not Ilbert himself, probably. I think he's pretty squished. It was a very wet noise when he landed.
More than a few of our people were taken in by his promises. Followed him all the way to the wall. Good men and women who never came back. When Monago told us what had happened, how the bastard had made sacrifices of them for his twisted ritual, by Rhaegbrs it filled me with an unholy fury. But what's done is done. Best we can do now is see that it wasn't all in vain.
Truth.
That is why we are here today, sir, to see that some good comes of this tragedy.
Well, truth-ish, the last
On
expansion
behalf
was
of
all
the
sunk cost
Eorzean
fallacy
Alliance,
too,
We
right?
do hereby extend a formal offer of military assistance to the Alamegan resistance.
At least this is, Mortal
Do
v
you
mortal
now?
conflict.
Well, go on then. I'm sure there's more to it than that.
I don't remember. Did we actually agree to do that? When did that happen? It's been a while, as I say, since our previous outings. Maybe I should revisit those videos.
So that's the way of it, eh? The Alliance, hoping to avoid a direct confrontation with the superior forces of the Empire, wishes to engage them by proxy with our vastly inferior ones. My comrades and I must confer on your proposal. A moment, if you please.
Of course, Master Kemp. Take all the time you require.
You'd love to see a quick quest. Quest complete music also not working for me yet. We'll see if that changes. Hey, you. Hi. You're tall. Those horns are fake, though. So, what are you compensating for, my boy? I can't imagine why they would refuse, but if they did... So they would have us wait. Very well. Pabalimo and I weren't entirely honest with you. Though we were sheltered in Little Alamigo at first, we spent most of our time here, working with Conrad and his people. But you probably guessed that the moment I led you to the Reach, didn't you? No, I did not. Thank you for clarifying, Final Fantasy XIV. You like to keep me on the right page. So the Gridanians are finally willing to fight, eh? We'll need to call the other senior members together before we can make a decision. Is that going to be our job, going and fighting them? To be honest, I already know I want us to work together. But we've still got to talk it over with everyone. I would say it's not as though we have it's not as though we have to stand around here indefinitely, do we? A haven for the bold, pondering how to make best use of our leisure. What a good sentence. So, it would seem we find ourselves with a surfeit of free time. Whoops. Forgive me. You're free to look around Rhaegbrs' Reach. In fact, I would encourage you to do so. It'll give you a better grasp of our current circumstances. Thank you, Master Kemp. I believe we will do just that. Huh? Let us make the most of this opportunity and assess the Resistance's capabilities. Feel free to poke wheresoever. Feel free to poke on. Yeah, we're not going to do a long session here. Feel free to poke our noses wheresoever we will. I like the sound of that. Well, I already know this place inside out. I can show you around if you like, Erwin. Great, let's get started. Hey there, Elise. I bet you think the Resistance is mostly made up of Alamegan Highlanders like me, but in truth, we don't even account for half. We've got Hell's Guard from all the way over by the Spine in here, and plenty of Seekers of the Sun like Nago. There's even some beast men, well, beast women, I suppose, like that one over there. She's Ananta. They've been with us for a while now. Well, one of the smaller factions has. The rest won't have anything to do with us. We're no different from the Garleans to them. That's true. They keep to themselves, spending all their time crafting. Ananta makes the most amazing jewelry, by the way. They use magics to twist metals and crystal into shapes you wouldn't believe. It's a pity people hardly ever get to see their work, but most of them don't even know they exist. That's enough about them, anyway. Let's take a closer look at that statue of Rhaegbrs, shall we? Sure. Is that the big one? The big boy? That's Rhaegbrs? I guess if you're gonna make a statue the size of 1,000 men, then, it better be of a god, because otherwise, whoa, okay. That was, unexpected. Oh, and she's up on the island, too, so if we try going across like this, it's not gonna work out for us. That won't work. Look at that dude riding around that foul creature. That awful Marboros. Being carried around. Ugh. I believe that mount is the reward for... is it a mount if it's carrying you? I believe that conveyance is the reward for maxing out a Blue Mage quest. Lease. Hello. So who are the 12 anyway? Pretty awe-inspiring, isn't it? The breaker of worlds who guided our ancestors to these lands all those centuries ago. Edie used to tell me the story of the storm on stormy nights. She wanted me to understand, to remember. At the end of the 5th astral era, she imitates her sister's voice, when the waters rose higher and higher, people all across Eorzea beseeched the heavens for a sign. And lo, a burning star appeared in the eastern sky and led the way to these mountains of Ger Abanya. Those who were saved by his grace pledged to honor and revere him, to devote themselves to great works without and within. Storm of blood approaches fast, hell's opens, and heavens weep, for no one's soul doth lie beyond the measure of his reach. I'm so proud of this game for getting meter correct when they do poetry. It's not a high bar, but most people don't bother reaching it. The last part was inscribed on this stone by a monk of the Fist of Rhaegbrs. He'd explained it to me. A day will come, bringing strife and sorrow that none may escape. Waste not these precious hours, but in quiet preparation make strong the body and mind. I don't know that storm of blood. Hush, Discord. Is finally upon us. But if it is, I have to believe that everything we've been through, everything that's led us to this point, will see us through in the end. Sorry, that was all a bit melodramatic, wasn't it? Let's keep moving, shall we? Off to the infirmary. Let's go. Oh, here's the beast woman they were talking about. Hello, Donna. Fear I have no love for Imperials. Full glad are we to pledge our blades to the resistance. I think that these snakes say X sounds instead of extending their S's. I think that's what they do. 'Cause I'm not interested in perpetuating snakesist stereotypes. You two have come to inspect their facilities. As you can see, they've done well to set aside this much space, but their supplies are insufficient. Of course, it's always supplies. We examined many patients and offered what assistance we could. However, for many of their injuries, time and bed rest are the only effective treatments. You couldn't elaborate on that? We'd love to know more about the nature of healing. Bastards got me in the shoulder. I've still the strength to stand on a battlefield, but I'm no good to anyone like this. Ooh, malingering, are we? Too many wounded, too little medicine, too much to worry about. So I don't. Instead, I pray every day for the fighting to end. Man, you got a fucking fit. What a coat. I don't know about the purple going on in there. Maybe a dark blue would have been a little nicer. But, you know, you do you. Hey, Lise. This is the infirmary, as you can probably tell. Here's where the resistance healers patch up the wounded and tend to the sick. No matter how carefully we planned our operations, casualties were inevitable. It's a sad thing to think about, but it's also important to remember the cost, as Conrad would say. We should go. I'll show you the Aetheryte Plaza next. In case you can't find the giant floating rotating gem. But you know, if you hadn't found it, if you weren't, for example, an omnipresent deity who could teleport to any of them anywhere in the world, then you'd be glad for the guidance. You wouldn't want to have to walk back here under your own power. You'd get all worn out. Ortwin. Hey, Ortwin. I've been told to destroy the Aetherite should the Imperial army find its way here. Though I truly hope it does not come to that. Would that help? How would that help? Because they'd know it was here. It's not like they can attune through one another to the Aetherite. If you could, that'd be a plot point. Seems like it would just stop us from escaping. Why? Not that you need an Aetherite to go to an Aetherite, but maybe in narrative you do. This is a confusing piece of strategy to me. Come on, Final Fantasy XIV, I asked a question, answer it. When you've seen one Aetherite, you've seen them all, right? Not quite. This one's an older design, dating back decades to when the Fist of Rhaegbrs was still here. Okay, maybe they're gonna answer my question. It may look a little different, but it works just as well as any other. I'll show you where the Sutlers are next, but don't forget to attune to the Aetherite before we go. They didn't answer it. That's a nice Aetherite. I mean, I like this Aetherite. Falling in love with you. Alice. Ah, excellent. There's no shortage of sutlers here, should we have need of their services. Hardly surprising. Where there is war, there is profit to be had. C'est quoi un sutler? Moi, je connais pas cette espèce de personne, de Wesen, wie man so schön im Allemand sagt. Dies. Arms, armor, potions, you name it, these folks have got it. The resistance would be in a bad way without brave merchants to keep it provisioned. If you're short on anything, or if you need something repaired, these are the people to speak to. Oh, Alphino and Alice are here. Why don't we see how they're getting on? Oh, Alphino and Alice are here. If you need to buy anything, now'd be a good time. A bargain struck. Alice is nodding approvingly at the sutlers. Come to take the measure of our friendly neighborhood merchants? They're a bold lot, that much is plain. If the Imperials found out they were peddling their wares to the Resistance, they would be lucky to escape with their lives. 'Tis a gamble, aye, and I admire their courage, but their motives could hardly be said to be altruistic. Ah, there you are. I've been looking all over for you. We've finished discussing your proposal and we're ready to receive you all back at the tent. I've sent someone to fetch Y'shtola and Kryl, so if you'd like to follow me... I would love to follow you. Please show me the way. Where there were 4 sets of footprints, that is where you led me somewhere. Hey, they did the teleport. Thank you. We'll begin once the others arrive. Sorry to have kept you waiting, but matters such as these demand due deliberation. Conrad probably needs a voice, huh? What kind of a voice does a Conrad have? Okay, I got one. We'll see how it feels. We might be voiced again too when we get to try it out. A.
Thank you all for waiting.
Okay. Never mind.
We've reached a consensus. I, Conrad Kemp, do hereby accept the Eorzean Alliance's proposal. You must understand, however, that our cooperation comes with certain caveats.
Those caveats being...
I take no joy in this, just so you know. Were it within my power, I'd offer you more assistance. But the Resistance is far more fragmented than you realize. The men and women in my care belong to but one of many factions.
Quick question, how's this gonna take us to Doma?
Simply put, I can only speak for the people of Rhaegbrs Reach. Now, I have every intention of appealing to the others, and I expect many will agree, but it will take time, and I cannot guarantee universal support.
Do we not go to Doma in this expansion? Am I wrong? Am I just wrong? Have I been wrong this whole time? I'm pretty sure we go to Doma in
Much
this
obliged.
expansion.
But that's not the whole of it. As you can imagine, the loss of those who cast their lot with the Griffin left us short on numbers. Some of our most trusted veterans died at the wall, and we've had to fill their posts with the young and inexperienced. Frankly, everything's in a right bloody mess.
Oh, we'd be more than happy to help you get back on your feet. If we're going to work together, we'll be doing ourselves a favor.
Well, there's no shortage of work to be done, that's for sure. We're in dire need of new blood, too.
Ishtola and I could lend a hand in the infirmary. From what I saw, they could do with a few more healers.
Always
Very
bodies to
well.
put back together.
I, for my part, shall return to the Rising Stones. I'm certain there are others among the Scions who would welcome the opportunity to fight for Alamegan liberation.
This has been enough vacation for Alphino. I'm just gonna head on back, you know, bop.
Is there anything else we can do to help?
There's
That's something
always
else in
something
mind
for
for you,
Erwin to do.
Monargo and Mefrid will tell you more.
Alright, we'll bring him forth and let's get marching orders.
Understood. We won't let you down.
Actually, though, well, let's talk to everybody. Now that we dealt with the formalities, we can get to work. I'm glad you're with us, friend. He's a tough city guy, living here in the woods. As if there were any doubt. Pinch me if I'm dreaming, because I'd swear it's finally happening. The whole of Eorzea committed at last to the liberation of Alamigo. Yeah, this expansion doesn't take place here, I checked. What a relief. For a moment there, I wasn't sure which way it was gonna go. Yeah, but let's, rather than getting caught up in something we're not gonna finish, why don't we go ahead and just call that a brief little introductory semi-so, and we'll pick it up when we're more in the mood to engage. Just want to keep the old hand in so we don't forget our quest. See you soon.